Far more voters would have been more likely to vote for Harris rather than not likely to vote for Harris if she had simply recognized the basic humanity of people undergoing a genocide.
So, what is that? Like people like
what is recognizing that Gaza
was horrible? Kamala Harris did do that, didn't she? Do that? She did recognize.
She recognized that Gaza was under attack and it was not good. What else? She has to say the word genocide in order for that to mean anything?
Right. That's the thing that has to happen. That's the litmus test, if you will, that we keep hearing, that you have to say the word genocide.
Or else you aren't sincerely, or else you don't actually care.
Right. And then what?
Yeah.
What?
She says it and magically everything's going to be fine?
Right.
In Gaza?
Right. So if Kamala Harris had said genocide as angrily and passionately as Hassan Piker, then would that have made her president? And then what? I mean, I don't know. But
I don't think it would have made her president.
And then if she...
But the 20-somethings would vote for her. The 20 to 35-year-olds may have voted for her. Maybe, if she said the word genocide.
A lot.
Over and over again, so they can hear it, because they don't have TVs. I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
Additionally, I mentioned this on your show a couple weeks ago, but investing resources in people, stocking food banks, funding clinics, if even 5% of that $1 billion that we spent to lose was spent on that, I think it could have made a real difference.
Wait, so 5%, spending 5%
on what we did to lose, so we shouldn't have even tried to beat Trump.
No,
we shouldn't have even tried.
But I'm just trying to understand how we go from funding food banks and stocking clinics, and how that results in defeating Trump at the ballot box. I just, I did...
Stocking? Yeah, because how does that make any sense? I mean, okay, so Kamala says, hey guys, instead of running and talking to you today, I'm going to put that money into a food bank that's located at 2755 Berkeley Ave in Minnesota, whatever. So you have one food bank that's getting food, and then one family gets dinner for that night, and then that's gonna solve the fact that we're living in a fascist dictatorship right now?
And that's gonna make the family that gets the food for that one night go, oh wow, Kamala Harris told me to go get my one free meal, or the 3 meals this week or whatever. Now I have, pumpkin and cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving, so I guess that means we gotta vote for her instead of Trump.
Because she gave us a meal.
She told us where to go to get a free meal, and
so that's gonna solve the whole Democratic Party. Oh yeah, because if the is that a metaphor for what, the Democrats aren't giving enough, or what the kind of common? What does she even know about the Democratic Party?
Well, I mean, she doesn't, because actually
she was a Republican.
She was a Republican just a decade ago in high school. She endorsed Marco Rubio. Both of her parents, I think her dad was a hedge fund investor, so a multi-millionaire. She's never had to have a job, a real job.
She was able to run for office
in a district that she didn't live in
at 27 years old.
Right.
How much money does that cost to do that?
Right.
And now she's able to just...
Kat Abu-Ghazaleh. She is the founder of Kapow, an organization with the goal of helping progressive candidates.
Be on MSNBC as an expert for what the kids want, which is...
dangerous.
Hello?
Well, that's dangerous. It's kind of like isn't it kind of like the Twilight Zone?
Oh yeah, that Twilight Zone episode where we have...
That's Sarah, my other sister. She was in an accident.
Where it's a young kid that's just deciding. I feel like right now, the Democratic Party is catering to young...
You'll like this.
...to 20-somethings, because they feel like...
Do it, Uncle Walt!
They understand the internet.
They understand the internet, and we don't. Wait, what happened to the 40-year-olds and the 30, like upper 30-year-olds that maybe grew up
Go ahead, Uncle Walt.
with the internet too.
When I was in my 20s, I was actually, I don't know what happened to people in their 20s now, where I guess they've grown up with TikTok so they know everything. I didn't grow up with TikTok. I never thought I knew everything. And when I was 20...
We did have books, by the way.
We did have books.
Books
And
did exist.
when I was 20 and I had a radio show, and I was on Howard Stern's big radio show back when radio was a thing, I quit because I knew I didn't know shit. And I knew I needed to go to school and actually learn before I came back to the microphone to have hot takes. And now that I went back to school and went back into actually doing menial wage slave jobs, and I'm trying to come back and offer my hot takes, which aren't actually hot takes, but have come from years of kind of studying and understanding how all this stuff
And maybe understanding
works.
how the Democratic Party is the party that actually helps people and has helped people through time, rather than the Republican Party. When you have a person that ran for office at 27 years old, who's from a rich family, who's never had to care about or rely on the government for anything,
Who's been a Republican her whole life until very recently. I don't understand how somebody goes from being a Republican who endorsed Marco Rubio in 2016 to
somehow caring about
no,
the Democratic Party. She doesn't care about the Democratic Party.
but to somehow working for Media Matters for America, to I guess her beat was Tucker Carlson, so she passionately
like him.
opposed Tucker Carlson. I bet she probably very much
Liked Marco Rubio.
liked Marco Rubio, but I bet she very much probably agrees with Tucker Carlson these days, because Tucker and her agree that Israel needs to not exist as a Jewish state. But we're not hearing much from her on Tucker now, are we? But anyway, like,
Okay, I'm confused too about, so why in this country is it so important that we talk about the genocide when we are in this country? Like, this country is the priority.
well, what
Like,
they're gonna
we
say,
need
what
to-
they're
I
gonna,
know,
what they're
I
gonna
know.
say is that we fund the
Right.
genocide.
So, let's say Kamala Harris didn't fund them as much as Trump has.
Oh, you mean
Is
wait? You mean
actually collaborating with Netanyahu.
Oh yeah. Oh wait. So in Israel, there's an illegal settlement named by Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump Heights, that was named that I think in 2017. So that was Benjamin
So we don't-
Netanyahu sending the signal that Trump is his best friend. And there are no Biden Heights in Israel. No illegal settlements named Biden Heights or Kamala Heights or Obama Heights. Only Trump Heights. But somehow Biden and Kamala weren't good enough for Dearborn, Michigan Muslims who voted for Trump.
That's where she's from.
No, she's from, Kat Abu Ghazala is from, where the hell is she from? I don't even know. I mean,
Or where did she run?
she ran in Illinois' 9th District. Didn't live there, but ran there. And lost.
Wow.
And lost. And now is an expert on what the kids want on MS Now's Morning Joe. Which is insane, because when do you go from losing your primary election to becoming the face and voice of a movement?
Go back to the Disney Club.
Like, go back to,
club, I don't
no, go back to being a young American for freedom,
Young adult.
which is what you were when you were in high school. You were a Rubio endorsing Republican. Like, none of this makes sense. And it's trying.
And there's never any story as to why you're now a Democrat. Like, is she a Democrat, or is she an independent, or is she whatever? How about we focus on saving the Democratic Party and stop bashing the Democratic Party when they are the only party that's been giving any kind of social, whatever it's called, social benefits or whatever, fighting for any kind of progressive change.
Oh, that's a great idea. That seems logical and
I mean, I know it's fun and it's exciting to say burn it all down, but the truth of the matter is, well, we might be able to burn it all down, but then where will we be if we don't actually set values as to like, you know, like have people having who has rights, and like why should I trust a 27-year-old? Why should I trust why should I, when we burn it all down and then the 27-year-olds run everything? Why am I supposed to trust them over some older guy that's diverse?
Who respects diversity, equity, and inclusion? Yeah.
That might not be white, actually.
Oh, wait, but Kat Abu Ghazala is Palestinian, right? Because her dad's dad was born in Jerusalem, and then her dad became a multimillionaire and hedge fund manager.
What a tough life.
And then now she's a blonde white lady who advocates for, I don't know, the abolition of the only Jewish state in the world that's the white supremacist state, even though when I look at the difference between, let's say, Kat Abu Ghazala and Kamala Harris, right? One of them looks a little whiter than the other, a little blonder, and I'm pretty sure if anyone has the advantage of having the power of
perfect eugenics or something?
No, just if your eyeballs work. If you're not blind, you can just see the difference. This whole thing about Israel and Jews being the white supremacist, colonialist monsters, and the Palestinians being the black, oppressed, the global South, right? It kind of falls apart when you look at The Advocate on MSNBC's Morning Joe, advocating and calling herself a Palestinian. She is as white as a Karen gets, okay? Not to say that there aren't horrible Israelis who are ultra-nationalists who are also as psychotic as their adversaries, right? Like the Ayatollahs, like Ben-Gvir, he's one such monster, who is an Israeli, who is
violent,
a monster,
kind of tribe,
right? A tribalized fool, psychopath, right? Those exist, but they exist on both sides. Let's find a way to uplift Israelis and Palestinians who are fighting fascism within their own ranks, whether it be Hamas or whether it be the Kahanist regime of Netanyahu, and let's uplift them instead of what we're doing, which is picking
litmus tests,
which is picking sides between.
If you don't pick a side, you're a monster,
right? And you have to, and all Palestine is pure, or all Israel is evil, or vice versa.
And which brings us to the whole problem with the internet, which is like there's no shades of gray. There's no, you can't have a dialogue, you can't have a conversation. It's all just like one way or the other, and it's feeding into the way we communicate in life. We just want to get angry and get to the point without doing any
work on ourselves, on our...
Or just to know, like, when you say general things and you say all these types of people are this way, that's a problem.
That's right. Yeah, it takes away the actual nuances and undercuts any possible growth, and penalizes everyone into a tribe that, I mean, I'm part of a family, and I disagree with a very healthy majority of most of those folks. So I don't want to be a part of that tribe in that way, that just because I was born into that family means that I am forever beholden to uplift and protect them, even if they're bigoted, racist psychopaths, right? I don't want to do that. In the same way that hundreds of thousands of Israelis
Like loyalty versus
don't want to do that. Or
it's like
Palestinians.
having loyalty to something just because you're related to them, but that means you feel like you have to agree with everything and to fit in. I mean, that's what the internet's become too, is like if you just disagree with something, if you can't disagree, then if you are disagreeing, then you're cast out of it.
Yep.
Like-
You're the enemy. You're the
That's
enemy.
not how we're going to save the Democratic Party.
That's not how we're going to save democracy. That's how
Democracy.
we're going to kill it. If we can't have serious conversations about our own blind spots, our own ignorance, right? About everything from things we think we're experts on to countries that are 7,000 miles away that we also think we're experts on. Like we need to admit that we're all imperfect, that we're all in need of each other to hold one another accountable
And respect each other.
and respect one another, and that's the only way we will advance a positive, hopeful future, like starting right here, because this is where the information war is being fought. And right now, those of us who are for justice, for decency, for human liberation, we're losing. But we're losing because we're becoming tribalized and cultish. And we're not, like, doing the work that...
Open-minded, learning new things.
We're not doing the work that the founding documents of the democratic experiment compels us and instructs us and demands that we do. America 250.